Welcome to Taskforce Geek. If it's Tuesday night, it's Taskforce Geek. Tonight I am joined by Sean.
Yep.
And Walt.
How you doing?
And Casey Jane.
Hi.
Look at that. That's our crew tonight. Scott is... he has a serious situation up at work because last week was crazy in Oklahoma. You got a little piece of that if you watched that last week. That affected Scott directly. He's doing double shifts and stuff up at work. So he is with his family tonight. All right. Before we get started here, let's talk for a moment because we also had a check-in from Walt, who was in his car watching the show last week. Walt, tell us what happened over Snowpocalypse in Dallas.
I heard you maybe heard something about Texas in the news recently.
Maybe.
So yeah,
a tidbit.
So yeah, I was stuck in all that madness.
BBC.
Yeah, I was stuck in all that madness. See this right here? I was part of Winter Apocalypse Snowmageddon down here. So as of like Monday last week, so we'll just say a week ago, I had no electricity for 45 hours. No electricity for 45 hours.
Come on, man.
So there was
in record cold temperatures.
In record cold temperatures. So on Monday, I think the high here was like 17 degrees on Monday.
Nice.
But Tuesday, the high was, or either the high or the low was -2.
Right.
So
right.
The coldest, it's the coldest. I've been here in Texas for almost 30 years, and it's the coldest it's ever been.
So wait a minute. You were in Alaska?
No, I was in Texas.
Oh.
We're talking the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area.
Yeah.
So
we also broke insane we broke records for low highs. So we had like the lowest high ever, and the windshield was like -25 or something.
Yeah. So it was insane cold. We only got
pipe bursting fantastic.
Yeah, we only got 6 inches of snow. That's not much.
Right.
But the cold was devastating. So we still and all I went through here was just no electricity, no power, spotty phone connections, cell phone connections and whatnot. But other people have been dealing with burst pipes. If you haven't seen any of the photographs of people who live in high-rise apartments where water pipes have burst in upstairs apartments, and then there's icicles from ceiling fans from the people below.
Right.
It's
Good
insane.
Times.
Yeah, and contrary of what you've heard also on the news, no, I would not rather die without to have no regulations on this stuff, because this happened 10 years ago. It wasn't this bad, and they didn't do anything about it 10 years ago. And here we are again. And it was, and to be specific, it was 10 years to the day.
Wow.
Funny how that works.
10 years to the day.
I mean, say what you will. I don't think that hopefully there is no debate that something went wrong there.
Well,
an answer for something.
And not to get too political here, but I'm all for some forms of deregulation in for certain things here and there. But some things, if you don't regulate it, nothing is going to get done. Nothing correct is going to get done. So, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
Well, let's just say that we have maybe a little bit more regulation here in Oklahoma.
Well,
and we our power didn't go down for 48 hours.
And you're, I'm not going to get into that.
Start with rolling blackouts and stuff in the region.
I'm just not going to get into that.
Rolling blackouts around here. It affected us, and it affected our family.
But I'll say that's what it was supposed to be. Rolling blackouts, 15 to 45 minute blackouts.
Controlled, right, where it's controlled, and they say, you'll be back in 45 minutes or an hour.
Right, but this was 45 hours, so. with a 3-hour stint in between there. So
not so. Let's check in with some of our the people who have talking to us here. Ken says, "Hey guys,
what's up, Ken?"
Hi.
Hey,
Ken says he has 11 people at his house.
the hell for?
And you're watching this show? What the heck? How do you do that?
Maybe they're all watching.
Hopefully they're all watching. If they're not watching, make them.
We need the viewers, Ken. Hello to Turi.
Hello, Jerry.
Hey to Russell.
Hey, Russell.
Russell, do you want to send us anything? Do you have your project going? He sent me something earlier in the week about something he was working on, and if you want to promote it now or later, just tell us, and we'll do that. Damon says we get snow in Houston like once every 5 or 6 years. He made the most out of it and did some toy photography in the snow. That's the way to do it.
I was going to do the same thing because I have a G.I. Joe Snowcat, and I really wanted to take that out there. And I was like, nope, it's too cold.
Ken is apparently helping some friends out at Busted Pipes at the girlfriend's son's house. There it is. That's the sort of fun that you get into in this sort of weather. Casey J.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing good. What's happening in your world? It's been a little while since we've got a chance to talk to you.
Not much. Just still in school. I just built a new PC, so I've been streaming a lot more.
That is awesome.
And yeah, that's pretty much been it. I streamed for like 14 hours the other day. It was disgusting. It was so much
14
fun.
hours? What?
Yeah.
And I bet that was the night I didn't have power, too.
Probably, yes.
See how she's rubbing that in? Tell me about building your own PC, please.
Oh, boy. It involved a lot of tears.
Because I'm maybe approaching doing that at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm curious as to how it went for you.
Let's just say I started doing it myself. I didn't know what I'm doing. So I had my friend on Discord trying to explain to me like what to do. Sliced my finger open. That was fun. And then I started crying because I couldn't get what I had to do to go in the place where I had to. So I packed everything up. I went to my friend's house. He couldn't do it.
Uh-oh.
Packed it all up again. Went to my other friend's house. Got it built. And it works great now. But oh boy, was it a process.
Is it a monster? Is it really powerful?
Yes, I have a 3070 in it.
Wow.
I was able to get one less than retail price. I got very lucky with this because you still can't find graphics cards anywhere.
Because everyone needed graphics cards for Zoom or Skype or whatever. Is that what the deal is?
I don't know, but just like once the 3000 series came out, everyone was like, I want to build a PC. So then all the 3000s were sold out. And then when people couldn't get them, they're like, oh, let's get the 2000s. So then all the 2000s are sold out. Like it's virtually impossible to get a graphics card unless you know someone. I had to do it.
It was hard to get a webcam for a while.
Yeah, I actually heard that story from RIT guys at work the other day. That very story. So
yeah. So unless you know someone,
is it because we're not getting stuff from China? What's the
I think it's just because everyone's home and everyone wants a PC.
Yeah. Okay, right.
I think that's the reason. I don't know.
It is Zoom and Skype. Everyone is on their home computer and they want to, have the best and stuff, and so they invest in bigger, better computers.
Mm-hmm. But yep, so finally got this thing is massive.
That's
finally
awesome.
Got it.
Well, I can tell because you're having to like put your hand up like this. I'm like,
right. It's like a true tower.
Like here. This is how big this thing is.
My gosh.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, says hello.
Hey, Mom.
Hi.
And Russell says he's still working on a few things, but when you're ready, you tell us and we'll talk about it. All right. We are broadcasting live from my Facebook account. That's that right there. And from my Dark Hooper Plus account on Twitter and on Periscope while it lasts. And we're on Twitch live as well. Sean and I have been doing some Twitch lately. Matter of fact, I checked in with you the other night, Casey Jane. What were you playing at that time? We were literally just about to start playing The Division.
I think I was playing World of Warcraft at that point. Yeah, I wasn't playing Faz by then. I was playing World of Warcraft still when you checked in.
Was that another one of your 17-hour sessions?
14 hours was World of Warcraft, Valorant, and Phasmophobia. And then a podcast in between all of it.
I get it though, because Sean and I played for how long the other night? 4 or 5 hours?
I think it was something like that because I was watching you guys play for a while. I had two.
I was like, it's midnight.
Yeah, I had 2 windows open and I was watching both of you play.
Wow. Were you really?
Yeah.
You watching both of us?
I was watching both of you. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
For some reason, his audio does not show up on or is not playing through my Twitch, so I've got to figure out what's going on there.
Have we checked it?
I'll help with that afterwards.
Yes, please help us. You are the expert on this. Brian James says, Mr. Hooper, you're a dynamic host of a dynamic program with a dynamic group. That's all of you. Dynamic. Thank you, Brian James. All right, we're going to go to our first gig. Here it comes. Oh, I don't even know what it's supposed to. Oh, it's always something, man. Here it goes. All right, this is a crazy thing. Please bear with me because it's kind of long, but it's definitely worth this thing. I mean, we were railing on DC last week, and then what do? They topped the news this week with some other stupidity. It's unbelievable. It's like DC Comics stupidity of the week. Anyway, so DC is now doing a continuity change, and here's the story. On Tuesday, February 23rd, today, DC is introducing the Linearverse, a new way to look at the publisher's 82-year-old history. Part of the new expanded multiverse concept introduced in January, Dark Knight's Death Metal #7, called the Omniverse, in which every DC story ever told is in continuity. The Linearverse is somewhat ironically does away with the need for why the DC Multiverse was created in the first place. A natural assumption about the generation story in the wake of the reveal that all stories are now in continuity in the new Omniverse is that heroes are plucked from different Earths from the multiverse, representing the different timelines. Are you guys with me so far? Have I lost anyone? But that turns out to not be the case. Linearverse, in which all of DC's 80-plus year history takes place in one singular and, of course, linear timeline on one Earth. In other words, the Batman Bruce Wayne that began his career in 1939 is the same Batman Bruce Wayne who took part in 2020's The Joker War. Same dude. No multiple Earths, no crises that rework timelines and continuity, just heroes that live a very, very long time. In the Linearverse, quote, people age far more slowly, living much longer than elsewhere, unquote. Wave Rider explains to Batman in the final pages of Forged, quote, your youth and vitality will endure for decades, enabling you to be effective far longer than the universe norm, unquote. So wrap your brain pans around that. And first I'm going to Sean.
Was there a question?
What the F is going on at DC? What do you think about this?
I don't care. I don't read DC, so it doesn't affect me one bit. I think there's
exactly, Gary.
They're trying to.
Hey, Mad Max, thanks for checking in there.
They're trying to rationalize all of the stupid decisions that they've made over the last 20 years, and they get some new hotshot who says, "I got an idea," and then the next hotshot comes in, he's like, I can make it dumber. And then another hotshot comes in. Another hotshot comes in and says, hold my beer. And then, I mean, it's just
maybe, Damon.
It's all stupid. It's all this is yet just another reason why I don't read DC stuff. Just put something down, stick to it, and go. No, we got to go back. No, you don't. Quit screwing with it. Just go. Just make new stories, make good new stories, and keep going.
They're having some issues with that, Sean. Casey Jane, do you have? I won't even go to you. Do you have anything to say about this?
I just think it's dumb. As someone who has dealt with storylines that involved a multiverse, which just gives you a headache in general.
Right.
Why though? It's like it's just dumb, and I don't read these. I don't know jack about DC, and even I'm just like, why would you do that, like, to your fans? Like, because you know people are gonna be pissed about this.
Exactly.
It's gonna make people mad.
Exactly.
Like, are you bored? Do you want a scandal? I don't.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
I don't like
does
it. I don't like it. That's it. That's my piece with it. It's dumb.
I think that's a good analysis. Walt, what do you think, man?
So to expand on what Casey Jane just said, it's so stupid. I started to read that article, and I got 2 sentences into it, and I said, "This is stupid."
Yeah.
And in fact, what I really wanted to say, if anyone out there in internet land has ever seen the movie Hollywood Shuffle, particularly the scene sneaking in the movies, when they get back from seeing the clip from the movie Dirty Larry, and the first response is a very loud bull.
Right.
That's what went through my head when I read the first 2 sentences. I went bull.
Right.
Because it's just, I'm just like, no, just leave the multiverse. The multiverse makes more sense than what they're trying to do,
and that's saying a lot.
And that is saying a lot.
Right.
That is saying a lot. And so I'm done. I'm done with them. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just done.
Multiverses never make sense, but it makes more sense than this.
Exactly.
Well, we're about to get into multiverses in both the DC EU, in the extended universe, the movie universe. We've already seen it in the CW. We're about to get serious. I mean, we're into it with WandaVision, and Spider-Man hinted at it and all that sort of stuff. We're about to get into the multiverse. This is something totally different. This is like, as Sean says, hold my beer. I mean, we are witnessing DC Comics. We are watching their crack up. I mean, they're just absolutely throwing in the towel on everything. We're watching the dismantling of an institution.
Yep, we are.
I don't know if it's AT&T or whoever said, yeah, none of this is really working. DC's like, hang on, I got another one, hang on, and they go get another idea.
I think it's possible that that is some of it. That people they're just throwing stuff at the wall to see if it sticks, and they're trying to create some. I don't know. I mean, this doesn't create excitement. It doesn't solve any problems. It creates so many more problems than it solves. I mean, it goes in the opposite direction. It's confusing. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. I just don't understand why, like, adults, like people who are paid to be adults at the top of the company, don't go, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It just doesn't make sense.
In the effing room has to say, no,
right.
This is not happening. I think it's Dan Jurgens that wrote this. No, Dan Jurgens, we're not doing this.
This reminds me of
stupid.
The story of when Jeff Johns went into a board meeting with the Warner Brother heads, and they were trying to figure out how to do the Green Lantern without the ring.
Right. That's an excellent. If we could just get the ring off of Green Lantern,
and it
good. Well, that's a good plan, guys.
So, yeah, I'm out.
Gary says, "How dumb? Why don't they just say, hey, time is fluid in comics, as in just because something happened in comics 30 years ago doesn't mean it was 30 years ago in the comic." That's one thing they could do. Brian wants cue the TFG merch proposals. Quote, I can make it dumber.
I'll wear it.
I wonder. There used to be a little website that said that was has DC Comics done something stupid, or the days since DC Comics has done something stupid.
Right,
They
and
used
it
to keep
starts at 0.
and they used to have a countdown, how many days, and then every time something stupid would come up, it would go back down to 0. I wonder if it's still around.
Oh, well, set it to 0, folks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gary says, I've always thought in comics, unless otherwise told differently. They said it in the present day, of course. I mean, look, I understand. You literally have an 80-year-old history on this thing. You're not going to be able to pick up, a Batman comic from 1939 and get the story of what's happening in Joker War. It's just not going to happen. That's the problem of, manga versus American comics, is that we've just carried on with the same damn characters over and over again. And then we rewrite the thing. We have Crisis on Infinite Earths or something, which resets the timeline. And then you go from there again. Unfortunately, DC does that every other year. Yeah. It's like they instead of doing it once a generation, you do it every 20 years or something. They're doing it like every other month. Where this Linearverse is the most stupid thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I mean, this is not a solution. This is a solution to. I mean, this is not a problem, and it's not a solution.
But the counter to 0.
I mean, for me, it's
trying to fix a problem that doesn't exist. That's what I'm trying to.
That's what the appeal was with Marvel's Ultimate lineup, is that if your character died, if your favorite character died, he was dead. Right. Peter Parker died in the Ultimate lineup, and he was replaced with Miles Morales. And people were upset about that at first, and it was like, wait a minute, this Miles Morales character is actually pretty cool. Right. So,
and you still got Amazing Spider-Man and Spectacular Spider-Man, and Spider-Man Goes to Walmart, and all the other damn titles that whatever it is. It's not like Spider-Man, the Peter Parker version of Spider-Man didn't exist somewhere.
Right.
You can still tell those stories, and I think that's the key. I think that personally, I think it's about time to get rid of monthly comics where you get Batman, 462. And you just say, this is a limited series. We're going to put it out monthly. And then at the end of that, we're going to start over. We're going to tell another story instead of trying to, shoehorn you into buying the comic no matter what, month after month. If Sean's cat is drawing it one month, you still have to pick it up. Otherwise you lose continuity on the comic, just tell good stories get good writers, get good artists, tell a self-contained story that's awesome, and then move on to the next writer artist team and still
in a way Marvel has been moving toward that direction, because every few months or so you get a brand new #1.
Yes.
A brand. It may be the same art and writing team
that they can put into trade paperback, which is really where the action is right now.
Yeah. So, but and then again, take a look at Savage Dragon. Eric Larson's Savage Dragon. It's the same story. It's been going on forever and ever. The original Savage Dragon is dead. His son took over.
His son's taken over, right?
And there's no telling. The son may die sometime soon, and we don't know who's going to be the next Savage Dragon. So,
right. I mean, that's real commitment there. But at least that tells one story. It tells something from beginning to end. Like later on, I'm going to be mentioning the top 10 comics from the 70s until now. So it's comics that were not in the Silver Age or the Golden Age or whatever. It's from the 70s on. So it's going to be maybe a little bit more relevant to comics that we know. And one of the comics on there is Cerebus, #1.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing that makes Cerebus so good is that it's a 300-page story. It tells a story from the beginning to the end. It's a cohesive story. It's
300 stuff. 300 comics.
300 comics, not 300 pages, folks.
Yeah.
300 comics.
300 issues.
It's a huge, huge story that's awesome from beginning to end. You actually get to see the guy evolve as a storyteller. You get to see the character evolve as a character. You get to see that world evolve, all of the characters and everything else. Frankly, DC and Marvel are kind of robbing us of that. You could do both things. But tell a cohesive story. If you're going to do long form, then tell a cohesive story. If you're going to hire, goofy writers and artists and stuff and put them together and tell story, then do that outside of the continuity and do whatever you want to. Set it in the future, set it in the past, set it in another universe, whatever you want to. I mean, people are fine with Elseworlds style comics. Some of those are the best stories that they have out there. Then people like Zack Snyder grab a hold of it and goes, let's put it in, regular continuity. And you're like, Zack, that's not really what happened there. That's not regular. It happened in the comics, and it's like, well, kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
It happened in comics that were, 6 issues long, and then they didn't have to deal with the ramifications.
Right.
So anyway, Brian says Sassy loves continuity. Ronnie's laughing at us. Ronnie, I got a podcast suggestion for you at the end of the show. You're going to love it. Scott chimes in and says the son has 3 kids. That book will eventually be the Savage Dragons. That book will eventually be the Savage Dragons.
The Savage Dragons. Okay, that's cool.
Oh, instead of Savage Dragon, it will be Savage
Dragons. Yeah,
I got it. That's you to drop by tonight, dude. Gary says, honestly, that's why I love Invincible so much. Kirkman told one epic story and then ended it. He did that with The Walking Dead as well. And Invincible is about to get its own animated series, by the way, which looks pretty damn salty.
I just wish they didn't continually use all that choppy animation.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, the good stuff is expensive. Good stuff is expensive. You don't always get the good stuff. Is there anything else you want to say about the crack up of DC Comic? This is the second week we opened with stupid crap from DC. Why?
Listen, they're giving us content. They're giving us content.
That's true.
Think of it as the positive.
Someone needs to take a paddle to the executive room in DC Comics and give all of them a spanking.
But you know what? Somebody out there likes the idea.
Unfortunately.
People that like chaos and like watch people do stupid crap.
Yeah.
Don't say chaos. I love chaos, but this is dumb.
Like, oh, bring it on. Bring on the stupidity. Let's watch stupid stuff happen.
It's like, do they just want publicity? Like, do they need people talking about them that they're doing this?
You know what they do? That's a factor here. Is that they're trying, but all of this is going to blow out. This is the same sort of stupid stuff they did back in the mid '90s when they just threw everything. Oh, it's got a die cut, glow in the dark, jewel encrusted cover on it. You gotta have this.
Yeah,
it's the 4th #1 of this, of this title this week. And so you gotta have it because it's collectible.
But we overprinted.
We overprinted. And then, 2 years later, they're like, why isn't anyone buying our comics? What happened to all of our regular comic buyers? It's like they went somewhere else, folks, because they're tired of all your little antics.
I had the jewel encrusted cover.
Those were very collectible at the time.
I just like Bart Sears' artwork.
Chromium.
Yeah.
Die cut, glow in the dark.
Yeah, I will buy anything Bart Sears.
Multiverse flavored cover.
I feel bad.
Everlasting Gobstopper cover.
I almost feel responsible. I have to buy Bart Sears stuff because I got him intoxicated.
You owe him.
He was so mad at me. I feel obligated. I have to buy his stuff.
Anthony says anything to make them trend on Twitter.
Any publicity is good publicity.
I doubt it. Well,
you're right.
That's the only thing I can think of. A logical reasoning.
I think that's maybe what they're thinking right now, but they really just need to get back to telling good stories, which they can. They just need to do it. All right, we're moving on to the next thing.
Here we go. What was that?
That's that
I'm
music,
making my own sound effects. Paramount Pictures is making a deal with Edgar Wright to develop to direct a new direct adaptation of The Running Man, the futuristic novel by Stephen King. This won't be a remake of the 1987 film that starred Arnold Schwarzenegger. The Baby Driver writer-director will co-write the story with Michael Bacall, and they will be much more faithful to King's best-selling novel. Bacall will write the script. Simon Kinberg, who's one of my... I hate Simon Kinberg. Folks, he's a Fox producer that is partially responsible for all those terrible X-Men films. He will produce through Kinberg's Genre Films banner. Kinberg brought the idea to Emma Watts based on their long relationship, and then Kinberg courted Wright. While the filmmaker is very selective, the prospect of a new Running Man is one that has intrigued him to the point that when asked if he could remake any film, this is Edgar Wright, he said he would choose that one. That was back in 2017. Now it's become real. To get a reaction on that first, I'm going to Walt.
I'm excited to see this movie. Knowing how the original film diverged from the actual novel. I mean, I'm not that familiar with the novel.
Right, but everyone said it was pretty wacky.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see this movie. In fact, if the buzz is really big about it, I may just go out and find the actual novel and read it for myself.
Right. It's not long.
Yeah, it's not. It's actually, I know that it's
Richard Bachman. If you
right,
which was a pen name of Stephen.
I remember way back in the day at art school. A classmate of mine used The Running Man as a subject for an art piece, and
really?
he used it, and he based his art piece off of the original novel, and it was great.
Cool.
And what he did was
a little ahead of its time.
Yeah, and what he did was he was also a fan of the Dark Knight Returns because that had just recently been out.
Sure.
And he based his artwork off of some Dark Knight Return artwork, but he changed it all up to make it fit the Running Man. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
Anthony says the novel was good.
So like I said, if was it Kinberg?
Yeah, Simon Kinberg. He's one of the writer director.
That's
not my favorite guy, but
if we got Edward, Wright's involved, he'll probably reel that in. So
yeah, I trust him.
So I trust him. Kim, as long as Kinberg keeps his fingers out of it, I think it'll be a great thing. So,
all right, Casey Jane, what do you think?
So, is this going to be a reimagining or actually based on the book, like it should have been in the first place?
Apparently, it's actually this one's going to be based more on the book.
Then I'm happy with that. Because I personally have both watched the movie and read the book. And was very disappointed. Yes. And I was very disappointed. It's just, yes, it differed a lot, but they're just little things that bothered me with it. The whole hunters being completely different. That was something that was one of my big things. So I'm excited to see it if it actually is going to be true to the book. But I don't know. Let's see. I wonder if they're still going to have it. Wasn't it set in 2017?
Was it?
I'm pretty sure it was set in 2017.
That's interesting.
If it is, I wonder if they're going to keep it
funny.
that, or if it's going to be in the future even
I'm sure.
more.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll say it's in the future. But
it is 2017. I knew it. I'm good at what I do.
Good job. Good job.
I'm proud of myself. Awesome. So I wonder if they're going to keep it as if it were in the past, or if they're going to push that date. It's not going to make a difference. I'm just one of those things. I'm wonder how that would go.
If I remember, the original story was, in a lot of ways, we've kind of gone towards everything that he mentioned in that thing.
Kind of.
All the
all the
kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're not actually killing people in reality television. Yeah. But we've gone right up to the edge of that. I mean, we've gone as close to that. Who could have, when he wrote that reality television was not a thing, and reality television is now very much a thing, and doing scary and crazy and embarrassing things on reality television is very much reality now.
There was a proposed reality show similar to that was going to be aired in Russia, and
I remember,
and I don't know if it ever happened or not, but
I don't know if it happened or not.
But I don't think it did.
Yeah, where they were going to actually hunt people on this show. They probably took a lot of.
Well, no, it was an option. It wasn't that. It was like some sort of race, but there was an option to not kill anybody, but you could take them out, so to speak.
What? Life is cheap in Russia.
Yeah.
You know what I wonder now? Now that I'm looking at this, and I never put two together, I wonder if some version of the Hunger Games was based on this, with the whole killing on reality TV.
Well,
two very different concepts,
and
but
also
still the same thing is the reality TV aspect
also
of it.
the Japanese movie. Help me out, guys.
Battle Royale.
Battle
Royale.
I've never seen that.
Was definitely Hunger Games before Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. I wonder, was it inspired at any point by this? Because I'm seeing like similarities.
The Running Man was definitely before all of that. So
yeah,
absolutely.
But I mean, there were other movies from the 50s and 60s, novels from the 20s and 30s that had the same theme. It's not.
Yeah.
It's nothing new.
No.
The only thing about Running Man, the movie Running Man, was that it was, as you say, it was a reality TV show. But I don't know. I never. I watched the movie back. What that was around high school, 80s? I think. Late 80s.
It was either. It was 90s. Because
did you say 87?
It came out in 87.
87.
Right.
Okay, so I was in high school.
James on top of all of it.
I have it in front of me. That one I was cheating. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Own it.
You know, I saw the movie then. You know, it was okay. You know, to be honest, I was really wanting to watch that more for Richard Dawson than I was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
True that.
He had quite an appearance in that.
You know, I watched the 70s Match Game all the time and Hogan's Heroes, and I just dug Richard Dawson. Anyway,
right. Family Feud.
Yeah.
He had to kiss all the women.
He kissed all the women.
All the women.
That is not acceptable in this day and age. You
can't
do that anymore.
70s, man.
Hey, and let's not forget Paula Abdul got an Oscar for The Running Man.
Wait, stop the press. What?
You didn't know that? Paula Abdul got an Oscar.
She choreographed the dancers.
Exactly. For the dancers in the show.
I vaguely remember that.
The Oscar was for dance choreography?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
In The Running Man, yes.
All right. Do they still do that?
Yes, they do.
Do we still give out awards for that?
Yes, they still do.
I mean, I understand back
it just
in the
doesn't
50s,
make TV.
we did, you know, like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't make the
musicals
TV.
and stuff, and they had to coordinate dance, and you know, in India they dance in every damn film. I get it there.
You know what? Those are my favorite parts
so
of those
much.
movies. Those are my favorite parts of those movies.
That is wonderful.
Yeah, I like that in my musicals. That's about it.
To bounce on a tangent for just a moment, there was a movie called Dawn, if I remember correctly, and DON, a Bollywood movie where you had this our hero, and he's running from some drug dealers, some gangsters, something. Very actiony, very, oh my gosh, very tension, thriller, everything's going. And then all of a sudden they run into this market and they're gone. Bad guys run past. Next thing you know, they jump out of these little wicker baskets, and the entire gallery goes into a dance, music, and all this. And I'm like, wait, what's going on? Why is this happening
That's
right
pretty
now?
Unusual.
Could they have gone to like a some sort of event and done the dance?
Nope.
Couldn't they
Nope.
integrated it more?
It's got to be in the middle of the
story?
street, dude.
It's got to be in the street.
It's
a
better
flash
that
mob.
way. It's
We're
a
about to be
flash mob.
killed. I better get my groove on,
Man, you
and
gotta
it just
Go out with a bang.
It's like a release.
it hurt my head so bad.
That's
so
your-
bad.
You know, you got to find your release where you can get it, man.
That's your intermission.
That's
Yeah.
more likely what it is.
Time for you to go get some popcorn.
Because
and
I
your
will.
favorite beverage.
I fully admit, if anybody out there, if you've never watched a Bollywood film, I highly recommend it.
Oh, you definitely should. They're
Yeah. You
They're
should.
painting.
wonderfully produced, wonderfully made.
yeah,
The stories,
beautiful in some cases, and yeah,
the stories you almost want to end your life, but beyond that, those dance
read all about
moments,
the wicker baskets.
those dance moments, it's like it's not just an intermission. They have to shift gears on the story. So the story's going in one direction. Hang on, we have a new direction, and then they'll take it. And it's like, I don't even know what this movie was about, but I was entertained for 2.5 hours because they're all like 2.5, 3 hour
long,
films.
man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they don't play around.
if
They
you've never
take-
seen
take
a
the movie
Bollywood film, yet pick one.
They're-
It doesn't matter.
They're pretty
pick one.
entertaining. They're
I know
pretty-
in my Netflix queue, I think I've got about 5 of them right now that I'm just waiting to get.
Yeah. Netflix has some.
I love their sci-fi movies. Love them.
Oh yeah.
They're,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, superhero movie?
they are outrageous. Yes, they're very outrageous.
And their action movies are actually pretty damn good.
Yeah, they are.
Some of
There
them
was
are
a
pretty-
there was a Bollywood remake of a Korean action film. And the
That's
only
a
reason I knew
deep
this
cut, man.
is because I had seen the Korean action film like 5 years prior.
You're like, wait a minute. I've
And
seen
then
the
I'm-
story.
Yeah, and now I'm watching the Bollywood version and I'm like, hang on. This guy's going to go into here and there's going to be a fight. And oh, hey, look at that. There he is. There's the fight. I don't remember the dance routine, though. This is new. Wow. But again,
It's a
that's
different take on
This was a great tangent.
It really
No
was.
kidding.
to get back
Who
to the
would've thought
original
that we were
deal.
gonna
This was
yeah,
a
what-
great tangent.
Bollywood movie.
To get back to the other deal.
Yeah.
As I never read the book. I am not a huge fan of Stephen King. We've talked about that before. But I do want to read the book. I just saw that on Audible they have it. It's only like 7 hours. So it's clearly not a long story. I'm curious as to what the changes are, what the direction will be, how it's going to be more focused. And Edgar Wright, I mean, if you haven't seen Baby Driver, just go rent it. Just now.
Yeah.
Go. Fantastic
Okay,
movie.
bye, guys.
Absolutely fantastic movie. The music in that movie is fantastic. The story in that, the driving itself, absolutely amazing. And a lot of people go, that's CGI. No, it wasn't.
Actually, it's not.
In fact, there's one stunt in the first 5 minutes of the movie that I sat there and I said, "There's no way."
Right. It has to
No
be CGI.
way. Yeah, I thought for sure it was CGI. Nope. I got the Blu-ray. They're showing the behind the scenes how they choreographed and how they set it all up, and I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
you're gods," because there's no way. There's no flipping way. I do that when I hit ice. I don't know how they did this, on purpose. That it was amazing, absolutely beautiful. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, take the time, go watch it. It's a fantastic movie. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to what Edgar's going to do with it.
Right. Anthony says, in the book, you volunteer to be a running man. In the movie, they use convicted criminals.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. All right. Well, I say that whatever Edgar Wright wants to do, I'm interested in. that guy's in my top 5 of directors right now. If you've not seen Baby Driver, then don't rent it, go buy it. I mean, it's that good. It's really one of the best films that's been made in the last 10 years. The guy is damn near close to genius. He has not done his magnum opus yet, and is probably not going to be The Running Man, I can't imagine. But when that guy puts it all together, when he does something, he will do an Academy Award winning Best Picture. It's coming. The guy is devastatingly brilliant, clever, entertaining. He is really exceptionally talented, and whatever his next project is, I'm in on it. I'm not a fan of Simon Kinberg, but I will give you this: he produced Logan, so he can do what needs to be done. He can get out of the way long enough to produce a good movie, so I'm good with that. And I've heard for years and years that the book is a hell of a lot better than the original Running Man movie, which was kind of made, back during a period of time where everything was kind of played for jokes and stuff. You could take a different tact on this and probably make it a much more substantial movie for sure. And Edgar Wright is so clever that with this sort of thing, I can't even imagine what he's going to do with it. I think it's going to be pretty special. I'm excited about it. Again, I'm excited about whatever it is that guy wants to do. That's my thought on it. Casey Jane, I'm going back to you for a second.
Oh boy.
Before we go on to the next thing, I want you to show us what shirt you're wearing.
Oh, Woody. Well, I have the Taskforce Geek shirt on.
Yeah. How about that? I wish that I'd been better prepared for this because I don't think I have the link to it. But I mean, other people can buy the Taskforce Geek shirt and stuff. And so anyway, maybe I'll get you to take a picture of it or something. We'll use it for an ad or whatever when we're going to, talk about it. But anyway, thank you for wearing that for us tonight. That is very, very cool. All right. We're moving on to our next deal. There's no fanfare here. I'm just going to do it. We're going to talk just for a moment about last week's guest, which was Doug Wood with Project Big Hop. Can I get someone while I'm talking about this to please go over to the Kickstarter campaign? I do not have the thing for that. And tell me.
There you go.
Oh, here we go. This is what I wanted right here. Perfect. Let's pull it up here. They are
made his goal.
He made the goal.
Can we get a little applause? Good job, Doug. Earlier today, I checked that, and it was at about $150 shy, and I wanted to make sure that if it had not gone over, that we would hopefully help get it over the hump there. But it's over 6,000. But keep in mind, folks, that on this project, that every dollar that goes over the 6,000, which is required to print the thing and to ship it and everything else, every dollar of that is split with the over 70 creators of this project. It's over 300 pages. It's basically an American manga tome, like what's the Shonen Jump?
Shonen Jump.
It has so much cool artwork in it. We showed a lot of that last week. I just wanted to make sure that we checked in with this. $6,000, getting $6,000. This is a first edition thing. There's no one in this that's a huge draw or anything. It's pretty amazing for them to even get close to hitting their goal. And this
is a week.
1 week. And they have
it's still 23 more days.
They still have, a whole deal. You can see, he held it up last week. It looks just like Shonen Jump. It's like that small kind of, you can see how thick it is. Yeah, it's insanely, it's a big, thick book. And, we were lucky enough to get, kind of an advance, look at this thing, and the stories in it are really good. The artwork is really good. If you like reading comics, there's something in there for you for sure. And how can you not want to support a project like this? It's over 70 artists and writers. It's 300 pages, and it's all he says that he called it a first taste. This is going to have a lot of characters in it that appear here for the first time. So it's not just something that's carried on. You never know. There's probably a good chance that there's going to be a character in there that takes off. And
these are all character or creator owned stories and whatnot, and all these are probably going to go somewhere.
Right. Look, it's called Project Big Hype. It's available right now over on, just go to Kickstarter, type in Project Big Hype, go over there and support this. Doug is a great guy, came up with this idea. He's funded this thing, but let's go way over this so that we get another of these, so we get 20 of these, so that they're around when we're all old.
I'll just admit that I pitched in for this because I really want to read this book. I really want to read it.
Yeah, I have an e-version of it, and I still got the actual physical version of it.
I was going to say I've got the ebook, and I bought into it. I mean, it's I just read a little bit of the ebook. In fact, there's my deal. I got the 25.
I think that's what I got too.
That's what I did too.
Same thing. Just, I mean, that's in, look, it's a pretty, when you compare, the amount of material that you get, I mean, 300 pages for $25. Insane. Some people are doing 24-page comics and they're selling it for $25.
Yeah.
But see, here's what gets even cooler. I think this is very unique to this this deal. He has pledge $1 or more, and you get to pick one story out of this.
Oh.
Pledge $5, you get to pick 3 stories out of this book. He'll send you a PDF of these stories.
That's unique.
$1 gets you a story, a full complete story.
Yeah.
$5 gets you 3.
That's cool.
$15 gets you a digital copy, so on and so forth. I mean, he's really got this set up for people that want to if they just want to try it or what have you. I mean, it's a cool deal.
It is. It's a heck of a deal. And again, it's by a guy who is really cool. I mean, go watch last week's episode. Doug is a really cool guy, and he's doing this, just because he thought it would be awesome. And it is awesome.
It's
the fact that he put this thing together is unbelievable.
Yeah, and that he got it together. Yeah,
he's not Jim Shooter.
Yeah,
I mean, he's new at this, and he put together this huge tome of material. Got some real quality people to help him out on this project. Go support this thing. Go over and look for Project Big Hype on Kickstarter. It's still not too late to get in on this thing, and the money that is pledged from this point forward goes towards the creators.
Support your creators.
Yes,
especially right now.
Support the artists.
And support projects. Ronnie says he got a 300-page book.
That's awesome.
Brian James says, are there any TFGers with comic publishing goals on the horizon? I mean,
you have no idea.
We've got 400 ideas. We've got more ideas than we've got time.
Right.
We've got a lot of stuff. We don't want to announce stuff. I will say that we are working on, collectively we are working on Bad Candy stuff.
I currently have 4 projects in the works. 4.
Staying busy.
I have
not out yet.
I have 2 that I need to get back onto.
Yep. That's the way we do it, man.
And one of those projects, Mr. James, I need to sit down and talk to you about.
Guys are making me want to get back into story writing. God.
Hey,
get
back into it. Let's make it happen.
There
I
is no time like today.
Seriously.
I haven't had the time.
You know, some stories make good video games too, you know.
It's true. But I mean, you know a lot of artists. Just saying. Brian says, "Deal." Yeah. Well, look, if anything happens, I promise you, we will flog the shit out of it.
Hey, there's our first 4-letter.
Hey-o. It's a party. All right, we're moving on to our feature presentation. I floated this idea last week, and here it is this week. We are going to have a new feature on this program as often as we can do it. You know, obviously there's a lot of artists out there. We just want to take an opportunity to maybe introduce some people who are, let's say, younger or new to the industry to some people that they might not know about. You know, maybe give a little bit of our, you know, like I said, a lot of us are artists, give our own impressions of people who are really at the top of their game. Introduce you to some people, or for people who do know these people, maybe just give a moment to whether you're a guest on here or you are watching this, give you an opportunity to talk about you know, some great art, which I think is pretty fun. So what I'm going to do is hopefully not crash the system here and add this to the stream. Hey, there it is. Right there, and that is called The Death Dealer by Frank Frazetta, and I'm going to give you a little background on Frazetta. Let's see, I'll take this off because we're now covering up Sean's pretty face.
Son of a...
Frank Frazetta, who was born in February 9th, 1928 and died in 2010, was an American fantasy and science fiction artist noted for comic books, paperback book covers, paintings, posters, LP record album covers, and other media. He is often referred to as the godfather of fantasy art. And by the way, it's downhill from here, folks. we start with Frazetta, and everyone will be unfavorably compared to him from now on. And he's one of the most renowned illustrators, period, fantasy, whatever, of the 20th century. He was also subject of a 2003 documentary, Painting with Fire. Frazetta was inducted into the comic book industry's Will Eisner Comic Book Hall of Fame, the Jack Kirby Hall of Fame, the Society of Illustrators Hall of Fame, the Science Fiction Hall of Fame, and was awarded a Life Achievement Award from the World Fantasy Convention. I mean, you know, he won everything that he could win. Guillermo del Toro, the Oscar-nominated filmmaker, said in a 2010 Los Angeles Times article that Frazetta was nothing less than, quote, an Olympic artist that defied fantasy art for the 20th century. Del Toro went on to say, quote, he gave the world a new pantheon of heroes. He somehow created a second narrative layer for every book he ever illustrated. That is so true. Frazetta's Princess of Mars painting, which we'll look at here in a minute, recently sold for $1.2 million on September 11th, 2020. Egyptian Queen holds the all-time fantasy art record of $5.4 million. It sold in 2019. So this here is Death Dealer. And, you know, if you want, I mean, this is kind of the iconic, you know, Frank Frazetta. And by the way, you guys can chime in here and talk about this stuff as much as you want to. But, you know, this is a good example.
I believe that was used on a Molly Hatchet album cover, if I remember.
I bet you're right.
I don't know of anybody in our generation who hasn't had some sort of influence with Frazetta.
Yeah.
You know,
everyone is either directly influenced by Frazetta or influenced by people who are influenced by Frazetta.
Because you can see Frazetta's influence in Beasley, specifically Beasley's artwork.
Oh yeah,
and
the darkness,
yeah,
the shadows. You know, things that stick out with Frazetta artwork is, you know, the flowing way. I mean, this is painted artwork, folks.
Yeah,
like really painted, like oil paint. You know, look in the background here. This kind of silky looking background he's got here. Look at the forms on these you know, the way that stuff bends and, references back to each other, the detail like in the saddle here, that's the lighting is unbelievable. Look at the light. This is top lit, actually almost from behind, but it's coming down on the top. You see the lighting coming in here. There's no way you can reference this, folks. There's no dude that stands there and does this. Just a master of figuring out how light would hit this sort of thing. And when you get up close to it, like you get close to like the hooves here and stuff, it almost becomes like abstract. If you just looked at that, you'd be like, what the hell is that?
Right.
But then when you pull back from it, it's just so beautiful. Just so, the art, the forms that he has here, the lighting, the detail, the flourish, the colors. Notice how he's kind of got this kind of reddish color that's coming in here and stuff. Really just a masterful piece.
One of the things that always struck me about Frazetta, which whenever I've been illustrating all my life. I mean, literally, my mother said that I came out of the womb with a pencil in one hand and a crayon in the other. But the moment that I actually started, focusing in on stuff, and I even remember the year, it was 81, I believe. I went up to my mom and dad and I said, I want to do comics. I want to do comics the rest of my life. And they were like, you're stupid. But,
you're going to
yeah, pretty much. Once we got past that, though, my dad was very, very much, pushing various artists. And one of the ones, because my dad read
a
lot, was Frazetta, who had done the covers for Conan. And he did a lot of covers for Conan. And what always amazed me about Frazetta stuff was that the singular image of that cover or that art piece or that album cover or whatever,
right?
That singular piece told a story.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have a hard time telling a story in 24 pages.
Sure.
With multiple panels. He could tell an entire story with just a singular image.
And look, folks, this was in the 60s and 70s by and large, maybe a bit of the 80s. He defined this fantasy look. This comes from his head, folks. Anyone who's doing Dungeons and Dragons character designs or something right now, they're doing it on the back of Frank Frazetta.
Exactly.
The designs that he had influenced the Arnold Schwarzenegger Conan films.
Of course.
Yes.
In every fantasy film that happened.
Literally, Conan would not look the way he does in the comics, in the whatever.
The Conan piece that's coming up here, you'll see.
Whatever format.
What it looks like.
He defined what Conan was going to look like. And what made him such a unique character in his own right was art was not his world. That's what he did for work, but that was not who he was. He was a huge lover of baseball. He was a huge fanatic of photography. He was such a unique individual. He has
into bodybuilding too.
He was into bodybuilding.
He looked like his characters, and that's not a coincidence. I mean,
no,
he used himself as reference for his characters.
He was an amazing person all around.
I did not use myself as reference for my characters.
And his kids are, they're not the artists, but by golly, they're keeping the name Frazetta alive by touring his artwork and keeping the museum at his home. Robert Rodriguez.
I mean, he does stuff down in Austin.
He's purchased several original Frazetta pieces that he takes on tour. I can't remember where his home is, but that's where his
Somewhere
museum
up
is.
northeast. Someone help us out who's watching this.
So
Pennsylvania.
So my favorite Frazetta piece is the Fire and Ice movie poster.
That is beautiful.
I think I have that, although I'm not sure. Ronnie wants to talk about John Buscema. I think that
John Buscema
earlier today that Sean shared something that has a big book out in 2022. John Buscema, unquestionably influenced by Frank Frazetta, but also a giant unto himself.
True.
Ronnie says, "Oh my God, I can't wait for this segment. I'm listening very closely." Brian says Frazetta is Jerry the King Lawler's favorite. He had a big chunk of his autobiography dedicated to discussing Frazetta. That's interesting. Very interesting.
Believe it or not, Lawler's an artist himself, and I've seen some of his artwork, and he's I think he illustrated one of Mick Foley's children's books.
Nice.
So
okay.
I vaguely remember something about that.
I remember. That's funny.
So I would definitely look if you haven't seen Jerry Lawler's artwork, I would definitely look it up. He's actually good. He's good.
Yeah. Ronnie says that Joe Jusko said that nobody painted like Frank because nobody thinks like Frank.
He's right.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. There's you can't how do I want to say this without just sounding condescending? I personally, I don't think like Frank. There's no way I could create like Frank. Here, listen to me talking. Yeah, Frank, just over here. No, Mr. Frazetta.
Mr. Frazetta.
No one conjured anything up like Frank. There's a phrase, I guess you would say. Everybody refers to Frank Frazetta's woman or Frank Frazetta women. They have a very particular look. They have a very particular way about them, which no other illustrator, with the exception of possibly Frank Cho, nobody has gotten that type of woman. There's a Frazetta woman. You cannot get away, or you cannot. I mean, look at this woman.
Yeah.
No one illustrates like this. If they're going to draw a female, they're not going to be soft. They're not going to be curvy. They're not going to be this. This is amazing.
Even this piece right here alone.
Did someone just win $1,000 or?
Oh, that's my phone ringing off, and I can't turn it off.
I thought you won the lotto.
I love that. I love that ringtone, by the way.
Just the background painting in this, like the painting of the backgrounds, like that marble column there.
Yeah,
and you look at that.
I mean, look at this right here.
That's
amazing.
You haven't seen anything like this since like the Renaissance. You go to the museum and you see these things that are like hundreds of years old. Nobody does this other than Frazetta. Like that style harkens back to those times, and it's just the smoothness on there. It almost, if you just glance at it, it almost looks like a photograph.
Again, look at on this deal, he's literally highlight. You can see a highlight here. It's like a spotlight. I mean, It's set in a fantasy deal. That's not the case. I mean, this might be, like moonlight or something coming in here. But look at how she is highlighted just by the light, and look at how the light falls off here, brilliantly. This doesn't exist, folks. He didn't go into a place and figure this out. This is craft. This is brilliant, genius level craft, where he figured out how this column is going to have a spotlight right here, and how the light's coming in, and then like the sweep of all her dress here, that also is one motion from the top of her head down to here is one curve.
And not to mention
one deal.
Not to mention the reflection off the pillar on the wall on the opposite side.
Right over here.
It's just like It's just
here you can see the reflection of this pillar, and then like how beautifully all this other stuff, which is he wants you to look at this. This is the piece that sold for over $5 million. This is the Queen of Egypt.
Nice.
That sold for over $5 million. Look at how everything falls off down here in the background and stuff. But he didn't half-ass it.
No, not at all.
It's still a brilliant piece. Even like this rug down here is similar. It's desaturated, but it's the same color as her dress. But he's carried over these blues and all of this sort of stuff, but it's not lit like the dress. So the dress is beautiful and brilliant in blue, and this thing is dull and stuff because again he's just really brilliant the way that this guy operates. I mean, it's really stunning. Speaking of Princess of Mars, this piece right here was my introduction to Frank Frazetta, and it was on the cover of the the John Carter Warlord of Mars books. And I remember going into oh my gosh, what was the name of the place? Was it Walden Books in Crossroads Mall? And they had all of the John Carter books stacked, from end to end. And I would pick those out and I would look at all of the covers, like, oh my gosh, this is just amazing. Because I was just astounded and spellbound by the artwork. Once again, you have kind of does this look like any Star Wars poster that you remember seeing?
Maybe.
No, I don't see it. I don't see it at all.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't see it. No, not at all.
This kind of deal where you have, the hero and the heroine, and then, some of the bit players and, a big thing in the background. This is a movie poster that was duplicated over and over and over and over and over again back when they used to paint movie posters, back during the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Transformers the movie, Star Wars, everything has emulated this image right here.
It's this right here. It's this right here.
They've emulated this image.
Yes. If you get up a little closer, you can see. Look at the what is it called? Ambient occlusion. How about that? How about that for some art craft?
There you go.
You can see the ambient occlusion here in, like, here's the shadow, but he's got a little green coming in here. Look at how brilliantly, this is a shadowed area, folks, but he's got a little bit of kind of, another color that's coming in here. That's ambient occlusion. That's long before video games started adding ambient occlusion. long before that, folks. And again, you can see what Sean called the Frazetta woman. I mean, that wasn't a Sean phrase. That's something that's been talked about for a long time. That's a real woman right there. That is,
He was asked about that. I remember seeing it. In fact, it might be on that Fire and Ice documentary, or Painting with Fire. Excuse me, Painting with Fire. He was asked about the Frazetta woman, and he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I
think I remember that.
I just draw women how I see women, and you see his wife next to him. He's like, oh yeah, I'm sure you do.
Right.
I mean, you look back on the photos whenever they met and whenever they first got married and they were traveling and all this, and yeah, he was a great looking guy and she was a great looking girl.
He used themselves. He used himself and his wife as their own models.
This actually might be Frazetta and his wife.
It might be both of them. Yeah, seriously, it could easily be the two of them.
It would not shock me.
Yeah. Let's get a few comments in there. Russell says, I started drawing around 9 years old, and I remember trying to draw many of Frank's book covers from John Carter, Conan, and Tarzan. There it is. Mm-hmm. That his father had. Jerry says, loving this segment. The lighting on the Princess of Mars piece is intriguing too. Mike says, Frank only had one other artist work and train under him, and that was Ken Kelly. That's his work was a close comparison to Frazetta. I think Ken Kelly did the Star Wars poster, folks. That's why I brought that up. Anthony mentions he used to work at Walden Books. Remember Walden Books, folks? That was where you got books, folks. Back in the olden days, back before Amazon. Ronnie says the luckiest authors in the world had their publishers get Frazetta to paint a book cover.
I
you hit the lottery when you.
Yeah, I specifically remember the Conan covers the most.
Mm-hmm.
How about this? I think that is Conan, is it not?
That would be a Conan cover.
Yeah.
Look at this is almost monochromatic.
Now I want to
say
one thing
look
about this piece. If this is the one I'm remembering correctly, Frank Frazetta had a bad habit of whenever his pieces were placed into his museum, which his museum was actually attached to his house.
Right.
You literally walk through a door, you're in the Frank Frazetta Museum. And at a point, his wife had to lock the door and take away the key because Frank would constantly go in,
right,
take down a piece, and continue working
retool
on
it.
And retool it.
This piece here, if I remember correctly, he repainted because as he developed more as an illustrator, there were things about it that he didn't like. Yeah. There were things that he thought that he could do better, so he would paint over it. And he kept going, and he kept going. And finally, she was like, "That's it. I've had it. You're done.
Get out of the museum."
She kicked him out of his own museum and locked the door so he couldn't get in there. But that just kind of goes back to...
So that's where George Lucas gets it from.
No kidding. Except Lucas doesn't always make the right decisions.
You're right.
Yeah, he needs a fine woman to take away the key.
Well, he had one in Marsha Lucas, but he let her go, unfortunately. Who edited the first couple of Star Wars films, which, by the way, were really good. I just want to do backgrounds like him. Forget his figures. It would be really cool to do. What is this? How do you do that? I mean, that's just insane. But look at the detail in there. Let's get really up on this thing. Look at the detail in this piece. All of the characters,
the facial expressions,
and the this little thing here and all of this stuff. I mean, it's all perfectly lit, of course. That's just really a masterful piece. I love this one. This is one of the things that really strikes me about Frazetta is you can see the comic book influence on how dynamic his characters can be. That's a comic book pose, folks. I mean, it's no different than, whatever, Neil Adams or Jim Lee or, whatever, any of your comic book people. That is a comic book pose, no doubt about it. The Jorge Jimenez, who's like one of my favorite guys right now who does Batman, he blurs his stuff. He'll do a Batman thing and he'll show Batman punching and he'll blur it. Look here at Frazetta, who's got his foot on this dude and there's action going on here. He's blurring this out to show that there's action going on here. That was 50 years ago.
That's manual. That's manually done.
That's done by hand, folks. That's not Photoshop.
That's not Photoshop. Because Photoshop wasn't a thing.
No. And again, he's lit this kind of like by moonlight or something. It's got this kind of strange.
And that motion is even in the cape.
Please, yeah. The motion here of
like the whole
stuff and
the cape is all motion.
But again, if you get up close, let's get up close. If you look at this, it starts to almost look abstract. That's brilliance. He hasn't outlined this thing and put the colors and stuff in. He has built these. Look at, he's got yellow here. You see some purple. He's got some red and stuff. No one would think, let's put to make this, this skin look correct. Let's put some yellow and purple and red but he's got it all in here. And then you back up and it just looks perfect. That is pretty stunning.
Can you zoom in on the Morning Star real quick?
Sure. like the top
the
of it.
blood all over it.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Like with the shine.
It's got running blood, and the perfect shine here that defines the form
on the metal and the blood.
Mhm.
Yes. You've got a little shine here on this blood. I don't know. Did he take some chocolate syrup and put it on a ball to get it to look like that? I don't know. It looks correct. I don't know. It's pretty amazing. This guy's phenomenal. Speaking of Conan, once again, how many times have you seen this pose?
I've seen this. This is like the first time I'm actually like familiar with seeing something like this.
And this is even messier than some of his other stuff. I mean, one of the things that, like, when I look at stuff as an artist, I am in constant battle because I want to make things clean. I want to render clean stuff.
I'll second that.
I fight that very, very hard. But what I like personally as a viewer, and what I like personally as an artist, like the creation of something, is to be messy. I think being messy is what being an artist is about. Like back when you were a kid and you put your fingers in some paint, you made a big mess on it. It was fun. That's what I try very hard, is to get myself to be more messy, to give myself permission to be messy, both aesthetically, because I think it looks cooler, and also because it's more fun. It's more fun for me.
One of my
the quintessential messy artist.
One of my art school instructors she called it being more painterly.
Yes, true. If you look at, like, let's compare to another great artist like Boris Vallejo. His stuff is clean and photogenic, but maybe too much. Maybe it goes too close to being photo perfect.
Photorealistic.
It loses a little bit of its life in comparison to this, which, I mean, this is messy. Look at it. You can see the canvas on this, which is this is a nice transfer here. You can see, I mean, this is taken from the actual piece, so you can really see what's going on. Look at how little it really defines her face and her hair, and like all the stuff that's going on down here. There's not a lot.
There's not much there.
There is a lot going on, but once again, you look at there's your abstract art piece. What is that? I don't know. But you pull back, and it just all forms this wonderful thing that he's got going on here. And look at how look at the other, the other piece was kind of bluish and stuff. This one's got that real strong, yellow look throughout the entire piece. That's the brilliance right there. Mike says Simon Bisley had his moments in his paintings that would be a close second to Frazetta's work. He definitely leans into being messy.
Yeah.
There have been other artists who try to do this quality, but there is no one like him in his art. No one can do this. Pimping ain't easy.
Yeah.
It's so hard to be painterly these days. Yeah, a lot of people really, I mean, like, go to Instagram. Look at how clean everything is. Everything is so clean, like just insanely clean.
Yeah.
People don't even really know how to react to your artwork if it's got a little, schmuck.
Mess. Yeah.
Oh,
that one's one of my favorites.
Piece. Look at how look at what is going on here. This dude's, rocking hair. His rock star hair.
What year is it?
It says 72.
Okay.
Look at how brilliant these bears are.
That's the thing that gets me, is the bears. That's
man,
just animals in general.
You want to draw some bears?
For me, well, I have done a bear. I did a bear for work a couple of years ago for an ad. So
those are beautiful, brilliant bears.
It's animals in general. Like a lot of people have a hard time transitioning from doing people to
A
animals.
little glint coming off of the sword there.
If mom's still watching, mom's one of those people.
Oh yeah. We should have her on for this segment since she's an art teacher.
Oh, and speaking of going back to Beasley, Mom and Beasley hit it off pretty well at a
Really?
comic book convention. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I had to leave them alone to talk or to talk shop. So that's another story.
Look at.
But yeah,
look at how
this
little
beast
he has
right here.
defined his face here. His face is in shadow, but the rest of the piece is bright because it's in the snow.
Look at those mountains in the background. You know, it's not clouds. That's mountain,
No.
and then there's fog.
Yeah, fog here, and then snow here. He's got a whiteout on everything basically. Maxine says you are correct. We'd like to hear that story about Bisley. Ronnie says, what I like about Frazetta's work is that it's ethereal, smoky, and has tons of movement.
Agreed.
Mike says Painterly is so tough. It's everything.
Yeah, it's getting back to that kid inside you and just, and being, loose.
Look at how he's used this water to define this character. And then you've got this. Look at how silky this water is in here. It's so silky. And then you look at all the stuff they got going on up here. This is another you can see the canvas here. It's like actually kind of seeing it in a museum. You can see his strokes and what he's doing here. Oil painting. But look at these guys that are just kind of in the background. Look at how much stuff is going on here. Her hair is what distinguishes. If she didn't have that dark hair and he didn't have it flared out here in a triangle, she would almost disappear. But because of that hair, because it's doing weird Medusa thing, that's what defines that character. That's a super famous painting right there. And again, look at how he's got this strong yellow thing coming in here. But what's the color that pops out?
The red.
It's that red, man. That super warm, stunning red that he's got underneath this guy's, kind of fur cape here. Wish I had a fur cape. Hashtag fur cape.
You can use one of my coats and make.
And I can definitely rock this look.
Hey, faux cape. We can find you some faux fur.
It doesn't have to be an actual fur cape.
Yeah.
Oh, then never mind.
We can find.
You could tie one of my coats and make it a cape.
We can find you. We can find you one of those.
What is a good look like?
Who was it? IKEA, I think. They have a bunch of fake fur that they use in Game of Thrones.
Yes.
So.
Oh yeah,
they use the fur carpets.
That's one of his most realized pieces. And again, I mean, look at the detail in this helmet that he's got going on, and look at his eyes. Look at the intensity.
The one thing that I don't remember, and I'm probably sure it was told, the average time it took him to do one of these paintings. I want to know what it was.
No, yep, I'd like to know, and the whole process and everything.
I think he talks about that in that painting with fire. Again, what a lot of people have to remember is he did artwork as a job.
Right.
So they would come up to him with, I've got this book. I need a cover. Can you get me a cover in like 2 or 3 days? And he's got to paint this thing. He's got to come up with a concept. He's got to lay it out. He's got to paint it. He's got to secure it and get it to the publisher within 3 days. I mean, this is production art at its
ultimate level.
Absolutely.
And so you've really got to understand that what we sit there and look at and ponder, oh, the beauty, this was his work, this is what he's did.
Cranking it out.
Yeah, it's not, I think I will take the next 6 months to paint a picture. No,
right.
No.
I would just like to know what the average turnaround time was for his paintings.
A lot quicker. Ronnie says he was able to bust out some of his paintings in a day.
Mm-hmm. I remember an interview where he talked about he got a deal. He was asked if he could do this cover. They needed to have it at the post office, shipping out the next day, and he was like, yeah, I can do that. I need, let's see, he's looking around his supplies. He didn't have any canvas to paint on. So he got, what was it? It was like a floor tile, if I remember right. And he painted a book cover on a floor tile and sent it off. It just, some of the stuff that the man, it didn't matter. He did what he had to do to get the work done. I was going to mention this earlier.
I wanted to show some of his comic book work.
You talk, we've talked about his ability to paint and to manipulate color and whatnot. But what a lot of people may not realize is he did get his start doing comic strips.
Yeah.
And his pen and ink stuff
is outrageous.
Dude, how spooky is that? How spooky is that work, folks? Look at this.
Look at the horse. It's the horse.
The horse is insane.
It's the horse. Look
at these strokes down here with this stuff. And again, this ain't Photoshop. He can't hit redo or control, what is it? Control
Z.
Control Z. Yeah.
He can't go back on this. If it ain't right, it ain't right. And I mean, look at these beautiful, long, silky strokes that he's got on this. He put a little white in here. It's got a little white and stuff. But look at how beautiful this is. When you do something like this right here, this area, man, you're just going for it because there's nothing that's holding you back here. He didn't do it from up here. He's just doing it kind of in the middle to give a little texture here and stuff. Once you start doing this, man, you can get lost in some really bad lines. But he just went for it, and it's really nice.
A lot of his pen and ink work, I don't feel that people understand or give him credit for a lot of the pen and ink work that he did. I know I personally, whenever I first started to find out who Frank Frazetta was all those years ago, I didn't have any idea. And there's a huge appreciation for what that man was able to create.
That's what they used to call Ghost Rider here. This guy
that's the original Ghost Rider.
This is old school Ghost Rider. But look at how he, in this piece, this is my last piece. Look at how he worked so hard to make it the background dark, including this beautifully rendered train and this dude that's about to blow up some TNT and all this sort of stuff. He did all of this dark so that he could keep this character. Man, that shows up pretty nice right there, folks. That's a pretty good scan. So that he could make this white horse and this guy in this white outfit stand out so much because it's got dark stuff all around him. And look at the lines right here. And he's gone back in here with the white, And look at this tail. That's insane.
Who published Ghost Rider originally? Was it Harris?
Oh crap! I knew this answer.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to look that up again.
I know it wasn't Marvel. Marvel bought it, or
no.
they got the rights to it or something, if I remember. But originally, I thought it was a different.
Oh.
That was my fault. I removed the other thing.
Jeez.
Sorry. We're gonna mix everyone up.
Here we go. Let's see if I can find it here.
Mike Kennedy said Drew Struzan talked about the first Star Wars poster that he and another artist busted out in a couple of days. Ronnie says Struzen, he would be a good one to do. Struzen was awesome as well. There was a documentary on him, Mike, if you haven't seen it. And Mike says that Fawcett published those ghostwriters.
Okay.
It says here, Magazine Enterprises. Before it was Marvel's first ghostwriter look was based on the Magazine Enterprises character Ghost Rider by Rex Fury, or with Rex Fury, created by Ray Crank and artist Dick Ayers.
All right.
Thanks everyone for having fun with us here on with Frank Frazetta. We can't do these segments this damn long, but it's hard not to with Frank Frazetta.
It's hard with Frank Frazetta. Yeah,
you really got to, if you're going to cover him, you got to show his stuff. And Mike says he has that, and it's awesome.
There's so many modern illustrators that have been, as we said in the beginning, have been influenced so.
Oops.
I got an itchy trigger finger there, man. I was getting ready to go to that, and then I clicked it. So my apologies. Go ahead, Sean. So many illustrators.
Oh no, I'm good.
Oh my God. What were you gonna say?
Come on, Kat, we're done. Let's go. We'll just turn this off. We don't
love you. Love you, Sean.
Son of a.
Dude, when I just heard the music, I'm like, oh no.
So many illustrators, Sean. Go ahead and say what you're gonna say.
You and I are gonna have a talk.
Can I finish it for you? So many of us illustrators have been solely, deeply influenced by Frank Frazetta. Okay.
I wanted to mention people like Bernie Wrightson, people like Joe Jusko, people like
I was thinking of Bernie Wrightson when I looked at his black and white work.
Right, Simon Bisley, all of these guys, the people that they may know currently, as I believe Dirk said earlier, were brought up on the back of that man. Everything that you know fantasy wise, you need to tip your hat.
Yeah, anything that you know now. I mean, and look, if his paintings can make $5 million, then he's also creating that field for the rest of comic and fantasy artists as well. I will put Frank Frazetta up against any fine artist you've got. Whoever you've got, give them to me. I think that Frank Frazetta will compare favorably, if not beat the pants off of him.
I think Frazetta's a class of his own.
And if you'd like to know more, look up the video "Painting with Fire."
Yep,
a beautiful documentary.
Yeah,
a beautiful documentary about the man, about who he is, who he was, a lot of the adversity that he overcame, suffering a stroke, teaching himself to paint with his other hand. I mean, just a marvelous person and a brilliant illustrator.
Yeah, for sure. Mike says, Sean, how many illustrators does it take to paint a light bulb? The fish.
42, man. 42.
Yeah, it's all downhill, folks, from here. For illustrators, but we will have this again. So if you're interested in this, tell us what you want to see. Which illustrators do you want to see out there? And we'll try to mix it up. We're not just going to go through only painters. We'll do comic book artists and other things, illustrators and stuff as well. Just whatever it is.
Make us do some work.
Painting with yeah. Make us do some work. And maybe we should rotate who picks who the artist is going to be in the photos and stuff. Anyway, we're on blast. Here we are. Let me see if I can find that banner.
I can't find it now.
There it is. let's go first to Walt, because I think he's dying to do some on blast. It's been a few weeks since he's
it's been a few weeks since I've been on. So as you all know, I finally broke down and joined the Hasbro Pulse collector club, or whatever it is that they do, where you get first shot, you get first dibs at all the new action figure toys or whatever. So I got my first object on there. I got my first thing, action figure, and I picked up RC from the new War on Cybertron series. So there's more on the way. So I don't know when that's going to come in. I pre-ordered a bunch of stuff on there recently. Also, this is for Scott. Actually, you guys might like this too. I went around trying to find something at Walmart, like, of all things, lighter fluid of all things during this whole big thing, because all I had was a grill, but I had nothing to light the charcoal with. So, but I happened to come across this because to get to where the lighter fluid was at this particular Walmart, which is nowhere near where I live, you had to walk past the toy section, and I did. And I found this. Wow. It's Grimlock, and it's it's a re-release of the Masterpiece, and it's in celebration of the movie from '86. So you get the little wheelie figure.
Wow.
On it, and so you get all this stuff, and apparently how this got past my knowledge, there is a whole line of Transformers the movie Celebration figures out there. So if you can find them, get them, grab them really quick, because there was a Hot Rod figure there too. I was like, if I get that, I'm spending way too much money. Can't do that. But that's two of the things that I found. The others are DVDs. You may have seen this. It's the Batman Son of the Dragon.
Oh yes.
It's actually it's pretty good. It's set in the 70s, and believe it or not, Batman is not the featured character in this.
All right.
So he's in it, but you have Bronze Tiger and some of the characters that Bruce Wayne trained with at Nanda Parbat.
If it's in the 70s, tell me that there's somebody that looks like Black Belt Jones.
That would be Bronze Tiger.
Fantastic.
Bronze Tiger.
Bronze Tiger. So there's a lot of bell bottom pants and everything, and
I like that.
It's really good. Although I will say that I didn't really care that much for the ending, but up until that point, the movie is rock solid. And last thing on the list, I picked up
about Batman Ninja.
Yeah,
the whole Batman Ninja was awesome, but at the end it kind of went off the rails.
Yeah, so I picked up the Star Trek Short Treks, which is 9 short films that are in the Star Trek universe, and particularly most of these stories are between Discovery and the upcoming new show with the new characters, or actually the original characters, so to speak.
Yeah, Pike.
Christopher Pike.
With Pike, yeah. I will say there are 2 short films on here that are my favorites, and I'm going to try and read them without my glasses here. One is called Ephraim and Dot, which is about a tardigrade. If you've watched Discovery and you know about the tardigrade, it's about a tardigrade. And the other one is called, let's see if I can read it here. The Trouble with Edward.
All right.
And The Trouble with Edward, I will say, is a Tribbles origin story.
Okay, interesting.
There are some other notable ones in there, like there's one that's about Spock's first day on the Enterprise. But of course, you got Rebecca Romijn playing number one.
Yeah,
and I have to say that I like Rebecca Romijn with dark hair.
Yeah.
So
the girl from Battle Angel Alita, she's in those, or in one or two of them, isn't she?
I would say the Trouble with Edward.
Is she just in that one?
She's just in that one.
Okay. I've seen a little bit of that. I've seen a little bit of that one.
There's they are really good little short stories. A couple of them will kind of get you misty eyed. I'll give you that too. So there's an origin story of Saru from Discovery. There's actually a story with Michael. There's a couple of animated, and that one is animated. So there's a couple of animated shorts. So I really do hope they do more of these, because these are really good filler. If you're a Star Trek fan, these are really good filler films.
How long is the Blu-ray?
It's about, I would say, maybe about an hour and a half long or so. So, and then there's extras. The extras aren't really all that much. It's just the creators talking about how they just wanted to do something to expand on the show and some of the stories in between, series and episodes and whatnot. So
Mike says Short Treks is great, and both of those are among my favorites. Spock's Day is really great too. The one with the attack on Mars was a tearjerker. Yes. I hadn't even heard of this.
I knew about it, and I actually watched the Edward online. They released the Edward one online a couple of weeks ago, and I watched it and I laughed my ass off. And I highly recommend it. It's specific. You can find that one on YouTube. So if you watch that one,
that's where I saw it.
Yeah, that one is funny of all get out. I mean,
cool.
So, but that's what I've consumed.
That's good stuff. All right, we're going to Casey J.
This week I don't really have much for On Blast, because really all I've been doing is playing World of Warcraft.
Well, that counts.
But oh boy, it's been a lot. I just leveled a new character, so that's been fun. But that's been consuming my time a lot. So I've just been 14-hour streams. Now, that's what I've been doing.
I have one question for you though, Casey.
Yes.
Have you seen Endgame yet?
Dude, we got messages. What are you talking about?
Oh, you were in the group. Were you in the group chat? So the second I finished Endgame, I go in the group chat, like screaming, saying, I was just like, how could none of you tell me this? I don't want to, is it can I say it, or will it be
it was like 2 years ago.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
it's been on TV.
How can none of you tell me Tony Stark died?
For this reaction alone.
All of you
exactly. This is
this is why we didn't tell you.
You gotta.
I started bawling. Brandon's next to me, and he's just like, and I just look at him, I'm like, why didn't you tell me? You knew he was my favorite. He's like, I couldn't.
The moment you said, I love Tony Stark, nothing better happened to him. It's like, oh shit.
You kept saying you were watching these things as long as they don't mess with Tony Stark.
Yeah. Because that was the last time I was on here with you. You were saying it. I was like, oh.
I was and I looked at him. I'm like, you knew this was happening. And he's like, the second you told me that he was your favorite, he's like, I can't say the word. He's like, you were in trouble.
Hey, but you can't, you can't spoil it. You gotta watch it the way we watched it.
I was furious. I earned my name Fury that day. I was so mad.
I'll tell you this, Casey. Every time I get to that scene and I watch that movie, I break out every time. And
it was really well done.
And I'm in the second time I saw it in the movie theater.
Mhm.
So it was me and I took my girlfriend to go see it, and there were two girls sitting next to me over here. Didn't know, and I came prepared this time. I had Kleenex in my pocket, and so this scene comes up. This scene comes up, and the girl next to me just immediately started bawling, and I just went with the tissue and handed it to her. And then her friend was like, "Is that Kleenex?" I was like, "Yeah, I came prepared this time." I said, "I'm going to need it myself." And I'm sitting there, all the three of us are bawling. My girlfriend is laughing at me. She's like, "You're crying?" I'm like, "Yeah." I said, I was invested with this entire story for 10 years.
Sure.
The moment that got, I'll let you talk. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say it was on TV like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, something like that. And I'd missed all the movie. Basically, I was working on some graphics and whatnot. I went into the living room, just channel surfing for a second, and it came up to literally him saying, "I'm Iron Man," and they started welling. And then the rest of the scene's playing out, and I'm bawling.
Yeah,
I have no shame. I was crying.
Yeah,
I was crying. That's all I saw. At that moment, there was no build up. Obviously, I've already seen the movie. I own it. I've seen it half a dozen times anyway. But the way they set this whole thing up, the way they played it out, all the emotions just crescendo at that moment.
And then go ahead.
The moment that got me was when Potts was just like, "You can sleep now," and I'm like, "No, he can't."
Yeah, I mean, I just finished watching. Somebody had posted a video of like all the scenes, like the big exciting moments, and it was a recording of the crowd with, Captain America with Thor's hammer. Right. I mean, I started welling up at that point, but those are like tears of joy because it's like I've waited 10 years to see this scene, and I'm just like really excited, and everybody's cheering in the theater because that's what happened. And then you get to that one point, and then the tears, the emotion just changes to totally that whole.
And then with Far From Home, the whole thing is based on. And when I watched Far From Home after that, and it's like the whole thing is based on how Tony died and how Spider-Man's going on with it. I'm just like, you can't keep doing this to me. I'm not invested.
Yeah.
They mirrored the scene in Infinity War where Peter Parker goes away. He's like, I don't want to go. Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah.
And then they mirror it because, Tony Stark obviously is going, and then he talks to him at that moment. It's pretty brilliant.
Yeah. But Far From Home was just like salt in the wound for me.
There is some cut footage, which if you've got the Blu-ray, I think it's on the Blu-ray, I don't remember. There's a sequence where after Tony's passing, everybody takes a knee.
Yeah,
just kind of Captain Marvel, I think, started, and then everybody, the camera pans, and you're just seeing all of the Avengers, and everybody is taking a knee. See, I'm getting choked up just thinking about it now.
I'm so upset. You all knew.
Beautiful. It was beautiful. How they brought it all together. Absolutely amazing.
That's storytelling. That's storytelling, Warner Brothers. That's storytelling.
Yeah, you ought to look into it.
So now I have a question. Did all of you have the same reaction as Brandon when I said that Iron Man was my favorite?
Yes.
And you all were like, "Oh, she's in for it."
I literally, the moment that you said he's my favorite, I was just like, "Oh."
Yeah, we all knew what was coming.
Yeah. You know what? I actually started crying for you there.
You can't ruin it by saying, you're not going to like the ending of Endgame.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet you can go back through the episodes to that day, and you look at all of our faces.
Yep.
I never noticed.
Yep.
I'll have to go back for that.
You go back and look at those videos. You'll see all of us just kind of go.
Yeah.
One of those things too is like literally. So one of my favorite musicals, because I'm big into musicals, is Les Miserables, which is known as Everyone Dies the Musical.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfectly fine with me.
Alert.
That hit. Les Mis is how old now?
1,000 years old.
Exactly. It's Everyone Dies the Musical. Everyone knows that, but like that didn't even hit me as hard as this.
Well, it was literally it was a 10-year buildup.
Yeah.
The only thing that rocked me as bad was probably Logan, and
Logan for many reasons, not just Wolverine, but also Professor X.
Yeah.
Sure.
Who's an incredibly tragic character in that film, and who suffers from dementia like my dad.
Oh.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When that movie came out, I want to say that was like 2 months after my father had passed, and
yeah,
that was great timing, by the way. I lost it. I lost it whenever the end of that film came out. Wounds were still fresh, very fresh. Beautiful. The whole movie was absolutely magnificent, and it was a great conclusion to Hugh Jackman's story. So another one I highly recommend.
Casey Jane, are you watching any of the Disney Plus stuff?
What do you mean?
WandaVision?
No, I have to start that. I'm waiting until they all come out so I can binge them all at once.
I think you're about 2 weeks away from the end of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so because I think I'm just gonna binge them all at once.
I'm curious, what you think about that.
It's gonna be weird because I'm sorry, I didn't really like Scarlet Witch. I'm sorry.
No, I understand.
No.
It's gonna, and
I'm still gonna watch it.
It's so weird the way that they build this thing up. It's going to be a little. It's unusual.
It's going to be off-putting.
I heard it's like going to start really
off-putting.
slow.
It can be. Yep.
Yeah, and that's mainly a generational thing.
It is.
I will say, yes, it is slow, but everything has a purpose.
Right.
It has a purpose, and
None
it's
of it.
well done. The first few episodes play exactly. They play very straight, like a comedy series, and the comedy is good.
Like old comedy series, like they go from like
an episode in black and white.
There's two episodes.
Two episodes in black and white.
Episodes that are black and white and like
because
old
it's like the 50s,
comedy.
A 50s television sitcom, and then a 60s television sitcom, and then
A
70s, 80s, 90s.
Oh, I didn't know it did that. Okay, that makes sense.
It's unusual, but it just it's only 30 minutes. Just try to enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, that's why I'm just gonna binge it all through at once.
Just go with it. Don't try to figure it out. Just go with it.
Yeah.
It's gotten more interesting the further we get into it.
I tell people it's like if you're familiar with the old TV show sitcoms like Bewitched and I Love Lucy and yeah,
oh my god,
and the Brady Bunch, you'll love it.
Episode because it is Bewitched.
Yeah,
is it?
Yeah,
I love Bewitched.
Pretty much. Yeah, you just you just take all those old TV shows and merge them together. Yeah.
They lean into it heavily, all the way up to the most recent episodes. Like we figured that was kind of Modern Family, basically.
Yeah.
They took
the Office, Modern Family, and The Office.
In The Office, where they're talking, it's a one camera, what they call one camera deal.
Yeah.
Where they
I'm intrigued by that.
And there's no laugh track or anything. It's been really well done, and they gave away a big thing that we won't talk about.
Sorry, I'm late to everything. I know.
No, it's okay.
No, it's fine.
You're getting there. It's kind of fun to relive it to you.
This week is going to be the longest episode at, I believe, just over an hour.
Oh,
and then the next episode I think is also going to be a long one, and those are the last two. So
there's supposed to be a special episode after that. So
there is supposed to be a bonus, but we'll see.
Sean, what's your on blast, man?
On blast. This weekend, I was real hesitant about this because I don't rent a whole lot of movies because they charge too damn much for these movies.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm real hesitant to rent these, especially whenever I can just wait a little bit. If it's something that I'm interested in, I'd rather spend the $20 that they want me to spend to rent it. I'll just spend $15 and buy it. Even if it's a bad movie, I can handle buying a Blu-ray for. I'll get something out of it. But instead, this weekend they had a movie that was $20 to rent that was reduced to $6 or $7.
$5.99.
$5.99. So I had to take a look, and I watched Chloe Grace Moretz's Shadow in the Cloud, and it is a very interesting movie about a young lady who boards a B-52 back in during World War II, and they're attacked by gremlins. It is a great little. There's not a lot to the story. They are not redefining the genre by any means, but it was fun. It was exceptionally entertaining. It had a fun story to it. Chloe Grace is turning into a fantastic actress. If you knew her from Jackass as Hit Girl, she has come such a long way.
Kick-Ass.
That's Kick-Ass, not Jackass.
What did I say? Jackass? My bad.
You said
Jackass.
Jackass. That's a totally different thing.
My name is Johnny
Sorry.
Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass. Sorry.
From as Hit Girl from Kick-Ass to today, she's come a long way. She's turning out to be an absolutely fantastic actress. I think she'll surprise you, even in this kind of genre pick. She's really excellent. It's definitely one to put on your radar, either to purchase or rent. Give it a shot. I think you'll enjoy.
That's a movie that is written by Max Landis, who is John Landis' son. He's pretty hot screenwriter right now.
And
it felt like, to me, like a John Carpenter film.
The music especially was very
sure, but also just kind of the smaller type movie, kind of a smaller genre movie that was just tight and got right to it, just got right into the action. Interesting characters. It was a good film.
Yeah, there's no build up. You start, here's this character, she needs to get on this plane, and then it's just balls out from that point. I mean, there's no slowing down. It's not a slow burn.
It's not. It gets on it.
It's instant, and it just goes until the credits roll.
It moves quick. It moves really quick. Ronnie wants to know, wasn't Chloe in Hugo?
Yes, she was.
And she's in the upcoming Tom and Jerry movie.
Yes,
really.
But
I can't wait for that.
I'm actually interested to see that. I saw her in an interview talking about acting to nothing.
I think
it reminds me of like Space Jam. That's why I'm interested in it.
Yeah.
I think if they made Tom and Jerry more like
Itchy
Itchy and Scratchy.
No, if they made Tom and Jerry animated, Tom and Jerry to appear more like say like Sonic the Hedgehog, more, keep them in their cartoon form, but make them more realistic in their 3D-ishness. They still kept them kind of 2D in a 3D world.
Yeah.
And it just, something about it just doesn't work for me.
That's why it reminds me of Space Jam. Because of that.
And Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Right. And those were great 20 years ago. Today it's like, come on. Let's pump this up a little bit.
Fair enough, yeah.
Sean, do you have
I can see that.
I've been reading the Akira novels that I showed off
a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. Absolutely fantastic. I am not disappointed with that purchase at all. The artwork is amazing. The story is kind of in fact, I was telling Dirk, if you've seen the movie, I've already completed about 3/4 of the movie in 2 volumes. And I've still got 4 volumes left.
Right. I don't even know how that's possible.
So I don't know what they're going to do. This is all new to me.
I'm just going to tell you where the movie ends is where the story really starts to pick up in the book.
Because see, where the movie ends, I've already cleared that.
Right.
And there's still elements that have not come to pass in the movie, but the main event of the film has happened.
Right.
And I'm like, what the hell? What's going on? I am totally confused now. And but I'm enjoying it.
So this is your first time reading it then, right?
This is the first time I've ever read it. I've never read it. I've seen it. I think I even mentioned it at the time. I had seen the comics. They had kind of like smaller trades back in the early 90s. And of course, whenever I first saw it, I'd already seen the movie. When I first saw the trades, I think they came out by Viz. Is that right?
I think so.
You know, the ones that I'm seeing on the shelf, it's like volume 6, volume 7. I'm like, well, crap. There's no reason to jump in now. I've already missed. And who knows if I can find those and how much I'm going to pay for those, because these were like $10 in the early 90s.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, dear God, I don't need to invest this money into this. That's crazy talk. I'll just wait till I'm in my 50s and I'll spend $150 on all of it. But anyway,
what a bargain.
I remember flipping through them, seeing the artwork, and obviously I was blown away by the artwork and what have you, but I never actually sat down and read it. And they are really blowing me away.
Yes, it is, Ronnie.
Yes.
It's a thinking manga. I mean, you really got to delve into it.
It's like the Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
I just finished volume 3, and like I said, I'm now where the movie has ended. But in the manga, we are just now getting into the politics of everything that's going on, which I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh my God, the politics! My God, the politics!"
Right.
The volume is this big, and I'm willing to bet that it's all just the politics that are going on in Neo Tokyo during this whole cataclysm, if you want to call it kerfuffle. But again, artwork is absolutely brilliant. I can't wait till I can finish all these books, so I can just go back and just sponge all of the artwork.
Yeah.
And just meld myself into what all's going on here, because the pages are absolutely beautiful work. And that's pretty much everything. I think that's pretty much everything I've been devouring.
All right. Well, I have been I've kind of been putting myself back into art school lately. And one of the things that is vexing me is backgrounds and perspective and all that sort of stuff. So I've been looking around for different books on the subject of, art perspective, and specifically perspective if you're going to do, comics and stuff. And I've had some, varying degrees of success in finding stuff. And then I realized that I bought a book several years ago that is exactly what I'm looking for. And that book is this right here. It's called How to Draw. It's just called How to Draw.
Found it.
Yes. And it's by a guy named Scott Robertson. He does these, by the way, go to his YouTube channel immediately and watch this guy sketch stuff out, because he will sketch stuff in perspective and will figure out exactly how backgrounds should look. And that's really what intrigued me the most, is because what I want to be able to do is creative backgrounds. So I'm not just doing, stuff that looks correctly, but stuff that is interesting, stuff that is in a fantasy setting or in a science fiction setting. And to do that, you not only need perspective, you need to also be able to approach it in a way that is creative. And that's what this guy does. And if you look at, some of his stuff, like, I don't know if we'll be able to see. Yeah, here we go. You can see like some of his kind of funky looking, spaceships and stuff that he draws, and, like cars that look like they were drawn by Sid Mead. I can't see what I'm showing. That sort of stuff. And then he also does, backgrounds, which is what I was talking about. But like, he's showing you how to piece these things together. I don't know how well you can see all of this, but you can see how he's like right here, how he's kind of putting together how it could look. And then up here, he's rendering it. That's what I needed, is that right there. And then if you look over here, you see how he's put the perspective lines and all that sort of thing. Anyway, this book is brilliant. It is like going to a college course on perspective. It's incredible. I'm about a third of the way through it, as you can see. It is exactly what I was looking for, although, I'm not ready to necessarily do perspective that good yet, but it gives me a little hope, and that's pretty awesome. Mike Kennedy says, hey, that book is amazing. I was taking a class 3 years ago, and the professor brought this book to class one night. It was awesome. Yeah, it's exactly what you need if you're looking for how to render vehicles or backgrounds or anything that looks correct in perspective. And he goes so far as to like, do it out perfectly so that, what you're doing is absolutely amazing, immaculate. Or he also shows you kind of the other end of it, where you can kind of sketch a thing out and then bring some science into it so that your sketch that's creative looks correct, which is really what I wanted, because I don't want to spend all day with rulers and crap. I want to get on with, creating. So this is for Ronnie. And I discovered this today. I couldn't believe it. Ronnie loves, he loves writing. He loves Brandon Sanderson. And he loves listening to audiobooks. Well, this is the next best thing. This is a podcast with Brandon Sanderson where he talks about writing, the process of writing. And he does it with 3 other people who are in different genres. It's like all of them, it's 4 people talking about writing, and they're all professional writers. They're all accomplished writers. And it's all about how they promote themselves, how they tackle, like today I listened to something on how to approach doing a series of books. And these are all people who have done series of books. It's an incredible resource. It's unbelievable. I can't believe I just found it. And then they introduce themselves, and it's like, hi, my name's Brandon Sanderson. And it's like, wait a minute, isn't that the guy that Ronnie loves? Brandon Sanderson? What the heck? So anyway, Brandon Sanderson's in this thing. It's called Writing Excuses. And I have a banner here if you're interested in this. It's a podcast. It is for free. It's at writingexcuses.com. I didn't find it there. I found it through the podcast compiler that I have, and I was just looking for podcasts on writing. They've been doing this. They say it's 16 seasons. Does that mean they've been doing it for 16 years? Or, are they doing it, 4 times a year? So I don't know. There's a lot of episodes on this thing, and I just found it. It's called Writing Excuses. It does have Brandon Sanderson in it, who is an accomplished fantasy writer. And it's got a lot of great, it's only all episodes are 15 minutes long. So it's not a big bite. You don't have to get into the middle of it and worry if you're going to be able to finish the thing. It's only 15 minutes long, and these people know what they're talking about. So there's my On Blast, folks. Well, instead of going to each person individually, let's just go through one person at a time and talk about where people should go to see your stuffs. And first, let's go to Casey Jane.
You can find me at twitter.com at Little Miss Fury. And actually, right after this podcast, I will be live on twitch.tv/Little Miss Fury.
There it is, twitter.com right there. And Twitch, there it is there. You want your Instagram up there?
Also, Little Miss Fury. I keep it nice and simple. Keep it all the same thing.
Oh, I beg clients to do that.
I
beg them. It's so much better to do it that way. Very good. Walt, you have a couple of things to announce here.
Yeah, you can. I'm going to start taking some commissions here pretty soon, so you can get with me at What Studio Art Presents Walter Con's Facebook page. It's been that's been there for a few years, but I haven't really pushed it, so you can find me there. And you can also.
I don't think you gave that to me.
I think I did in the private chat.
Well, you gave me that one. And you gave me that one.
Yeah, that's my Twitch. That's my Twitch channel. So you can catch me playing video games there from time to time.
All right. Well, give me the website again, please. That's the link I gave you. What Studio Art Presents Walter Cons, and that was the link that I gave you. It's a Facebook group. Oh, all right. There it is.
Yeah, what Walter Cons?
I got you. What Walter Cons?
And if you want to know what,
so get over there and follow him on that, and then also on Twitch.
And on Twitch, right? That's correct.
We're all on Twitch now. How about that?
We are all on Twitch.
You make me so proud.
How about that? I had a Twitch question, never got to it. It's not going to happen tonight. We'll do it some other time. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
Sean, give us your stuffs.
As always, you can find me at rankingstudios.com and also at Facebook /Ranking Studios. Stop by.
I have no idea where your stuff is, man.
No one knows where my stuff is.
I have no idea where this is.
Whoa, what is your stuff?
Stop by both those sites. Check us out. We have artwork
There's
up
Ranking
there.
Studios on Facebook.
We have artwork there.
There's Ranking Studios, the site.
We also would love to hear from you. Send us some emails. Send us some.
There's Sean on Twitch.
Chime in on it and let us know what you think of what we're doing and how we can make your life better.
Right. We're making lives better, damn it.
Or at least doing our damnedest to do it.
We're trying. Check me out right there. Twitter.com, Dark Hooper Plus. Or you can go to Dark Hooper Artworks. I've been putting some stuff out. I put a new piece out today. Hard to believe it happened. Also, if you want to send us something, send it to that address right there. There's the magic place. What else we got, folks? We're way over time.
Way over.
Extra
Ronnie
time.
says, well, thanks, Dirk. I'll definitely check it out. Man, that was made for Ronnie. Are you kidding me? It's good though. If you are an author, get over there and listen to that thing. It's for people who really know their stuff. Ronnie wants to know if you draw.
I can't even draw a stick figure. It's pathetic.
What's even better is how you pronounce stick figure.
I can teach you how to draw a profile in less than a minute.
Oh, you are doubting my lack of abilities.
You're doubting my lack of abilities.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying I just can't. It's comical at some point.
He used to teach
I
you.
can teach you.
Might have to. I can write. I can't draw.
That's
Well,
all you need.
You got to get going on some writing. We're gonna make something happen.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Just think about it. Let it float around in there. See what comes out.
I mean, even Little Miss Fury is a title all its own.
It is. You could so totally do a Little Miss Fury comic. Oh my God, that's a great idea.
That's a title all on its own right there.
Oh, they would love you at conventions. Are you kidding me? You create the character, you write the stories, and then you show up for the things dressed as the character. This is
Little Miss Fury's Adventures in Video Games.
God, this is gold.
I do have the wrestling attire. I do have Little Miss Fury wrestling gear. Just saying.
Please. This is such a thing.
It is writing itself as we sit here.
Yeah.
This is.
I'll put some bullet points down. I'll figure it out.
It has been foretold.
And Derek and Sean, I still think we need to get back into doing the Con Thugs again.
Con Thugs.
Yeah, we way back in the day we had come up with some characters about, some thugs.
We need to get back to convention someday.
Yeah, nerdy thugs.
I miss PAX.
It's a shame.
4 more months.
Therese says Wilson does have some teaching skills. So there you go. Does anyone have anything they want to add before we wrap things up? We are so wide. We are way over time.
No, just, hey, everybody take care of yourselves, everything, Pray for us down here in Texas.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, if you're bored and want to hang out on Twitch.
Yeah.
And if you're bored and you want to hang out on Twitch, I will be live directly after this.
Oh, wow. You're going right straight to work.
Yeah, I was supposed to stream at 10.
I will not be live.
Oh,
I will not. I will.
We are keeping her from.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I planned to stream directly after this.
The Frank Frazetta thing went so much longer than I expected, but it was also a lot lot of fun. So hopefully everyone enjoyed that. I got to see Ronnie for the first time physically, in a while. That guy has been, on lockdown or whatever. And, he said some really nice things about how this show, helped him through when he couldn't hang out with his friends and stuff. This did allow him for a couple of hours once a week to hang out with his friends and to see what was going on, maybe get little information and a little entertainment. And that was really nice. I really appreciated that. And I hope sincerely that everyone feels that way, that you're also part of the family and that you get a little bit get a little information, a little bit of entertainment out of this, because we certainly welcome you here, and it means a lot to us to hear from you and to hear that this, what we've done for nearly a year now, means something to you. So thank you all for watching very much. It means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to the rest of this gang. Thanks to all of you for being on the show tonight. Thanks to Casey Jane. Thanks to Walt. Thanks to Sean. And again, thanks to everyone who watches us. For all of you, this is Dark Hooper saying, dream hard.